Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight for our business wellness pop up. And we're so glad you're here. My name is Jeannie Tuvel, and my friend and colleague Barbara Lagoni are your hosts tonight for an opportunity to hear some very special stories from women who will be giving you kind of a behind the scenes look into their wellness business. This year has been quite challenging for a lot of families during this pandemic. And just recently, CBS Money Watch had an article that said during this pandemic, nearly 3 million US women have dropped out of the labor force.
Oh,
That's huge,
mm,
3 million.
mm.
39 years ago, both Barbara and I came to a crossroads in our lives where we changed totally the direction in our chosen professions. I myself was a teacher, but I wanted to stay home with my children, but I still wanted to contribute to my family's income. And Barbara, you kind of had a different profession and you came from a different reason. We both landed in one place though.
We did, and I grew up at a time in the '60s when Lake Erie had died, rivers were catching fire, and John F. Kennedy was telling us, "You're going to have to make choices. You're either going to be part of the problem or part of the solution." And so I discovered this company, Shackley, that was making earth-friendly products at a time when very few people even knew what biodegradable meant. And with a degree in nutrition, I was a little slow to come around to the idea of supplements. But when we were expecting our second child, I did a deep dive into those products and found this amazing science behind them, caliber of research, which even still today is unique to vitamin companies. And of course, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and there was an enormous improvement in my health. And when you lose your health and you get it back, it becomes very precious, and you feel the desire to want to share it with others. And so that's what happened to me. So 40 years ago, for Jeannie and I, we have now been recipients of all the benefits that a Shackley business offers, from international travel and cars and six-figure income and tax benefits and all of that. And we're at a time in our businesses where we really are wanting to pay forward to others all the goodness that we've received from this wonderful business. So tonight we have three of our colleagues are going to be sharing with you their stories, what how Shackley has impacted them. And I think we're going to begin with our friend Tova
Tova, yeah,
Zegelman
Tova.
Spring, if you would.
Yeah, from Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Tova, we're looking forward to hearing your story.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me to share my story. It's wonderful to see all these beautiful faces on the call tonight. And I know that if you are on this call tonight, it's because somebody cares about you and loves you and has invited you to come and hear these stories of how you too can change your life and improve your life. And I know that's been my story. So I'll rewind a little bit. Almost 6 years ago, I am an educator. I am a speech language pathologist and a literacy specialist, and was working in a school full time. It's got my master's, got married, and then life changed really quickly for me. I lost my job due to budget cuts. They cut the budget, lost my full time job, and at the same time, my marriage ended. And I was found myself with losing my full time income, losing my health benefits, and losing a second income from my husband. So I heard the word crosswords before. Jeannie mentioned crossroads, not crosswords, crossroads.
Right,
It's late. It's late here on the East Coast.
right.
But I found myself at a crossroads, and I did not want to go back to work full time in a school district. I love what I do, but I didn't like working in the politics of a school district. And so I decided to start working part-time, but I needed to supplement that income of just working part-time as an educator. And so I dove into the world of fitness because I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I found that the gym and exercise was my happy place. And I started exercising. It made me feel better about myself, and it helped me to connect to people in a community. And so that was great. And I started teaching fitness, but everything I did was trading time for money. Everything I did to earn income, I had to be there. I had to physically be there in person, whether it was tutoring my students or teaching a class at the gym. And then I found that I really needed some help with my own nutrition. And so I reached out to a health coach named Laura, and I started working with her to improve my relationship with food. I don't know, especially in this pandemic, if anybody has also had this, where a little bit of a negative relationship with food, constantly eating and then justifying why I'm eating it. And Laura really helped me to make small changes that over time accumulated to healthy habits. And I was really grateful for that. And I had a lot of questions about what supplements I should be taking. It was really confusing. I would walk into a store, I'd see the whole shelf of vitamins, and I just would walk out because I was so overwhelmed. And so Laura was really wonderful, and she answered my questions, and she introduced me to products from a company named Shaklee that I had never heard of before. And I just couldn't believe how much better I physically felt when I started using the vitamins. And I also really loved Laura, and I respected Laura, and I trusted Laura. And I think that was a big part of it for me. And after working with her, I asked her, like, how can I do this too? Because I feel so much better, and I want to help other people feel as good as I do. And I really need another stream of income because I'm running myself ragged, working and spinning my wheels as much as I can. And so I partnered with Laura, and from that, my business was born, and it's been really incredible because I've been able to not have to trade time for money as much, and in the jobs that I do. I now am surrounded by this amazing community that you see so many people here tonight, that I am supported and encouraged, and they've trained me. I didn't have to know everything when I started. I had a lot of fears too, about what people might think about me, that I didn't want to sell anything to my friends or family. Like, I was not comfortable with that. But what I found was that my friends and family love me and wanted to support me and were happy to learn from me. And so that made me feel really good. And now my life looks a lot different than it did almost 6 years ago. I am remarried in a very healthy and happy marriage. I get to make my own schedule and work from home, which is incredible. And the best part for me really is the text messages that I get from the people that I've helped. And when I get text messages from people telling me that they no longer have joint pain, or that they have more energy to play with their grandkids, that they're able to save money for their child's college education by partnering in our business, that it just really feeds my heart. And it's been an incredible journey, and I love seeing new faces on tonight. So I'll just leave you with that picture of thinking about what your life could look like if you're at some kind of crossroads, and how different it could be if you take that leap, because sometimes you just have to take that first step without knowing where the rest of the staircase leads. So thank you so much for letting me share tonight.
Nice.
Tova, I love your story. That was so fabulous. And I totally resonate with what you were saying with trading time for money. I actually used to be a teacher, so totally understand. And I want to share my story, but I don't know after yours. That was amazing. My story, I'm Sarah Galbraith. I'm in Massachusetts, and it's kind of like a three-pillar story because I have health regained, I had financial needs met, and I had this joy of community. So when I was introduced to Shaklee, I was about 29 years old. Already in my life, I had survived an exposure to mold in my high school where some teachers actually got cancer and passed. It was very bad. The whole school closed down for years. Medications for migraines, menstrual disorders, and my dad actually died from amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or as we know, Lou Gehrig's disease, when I was 19. So that happened. I actually left for school. My dad really wanted me to still go away to college, and that he passed away when I was a sophomore in college. It led to really poor choices in life, poor habits, poor diet, just poor choices. And so wasn't doing the best for myself, although I just was trying to do the best. Kind of fast forward, then went to get my master's degree in education, and I was greeted by a recession in 2008. So that was a shocker. And I put all my clothes in my Volkswagen Jetta and just started driving, looking for a teaching job. I got a teaching job, and then I decided that I was going to get married. So I taught for a year, and then I got married, and we moved everywhere. My husband was a Marine. Um, I finally got a job when we moved. The Marine Corps moved us to San Diego, but I was a teaching assistant, and it was for $10 an hour. So
Oh,
I took out student loans, and then I was making $10 an hour. So that was hard. Um, But you know what? We decided that it was time to have kids. And then when it was time to have kids, there was a lot of issues, fertility wise, that went along with all of my poor choices, mold exposure. I mean, we can go down the rabbit hole, but I had to start fertility medicine. So we did that, and we had our first kid. And when she was about 6 months old, that is when I found Shackley. Really needed some gut health help, and it did help right away. And so I was like, I want to start this business. I started the business, and I had some success, but I had a lot of stuff that I was still going through in my life. And the fertility problems were still happening. So I kind of didn't take my business seriously. So I took my business seriously when I was 7 months pregnant with our second. My husband got laid off of work, and we had blown through almost our whole entire life savings to do in vitro fertilization for our second. We
oh,
had to move into my mother's basement. Um, we had moved 7 times in 6 years at that point,
mm,
just because of being in the Marines. He was then in oil and gas. It's a very volatile business. I mean, there was just so much that we were up against. I reflect on this story a bit every time, thinking, oh my gosh, did I really do all that? Were
mm,
we really up against all that? And did we really make it through?
mm,
We did. Happy story. We're still all here and together.
mm,
But living in my mom's basement really humbled me, and I was like, I can't do this again. We literally have gone through most of our savings to do IVF. um I had already had experienced miscarriage. I've experienced years of fertility treatments. um we delivered, I had her, and when we moved to Massachusetts, when he got work, I was like, this was 2015, I was like, I gotta do this business full time, like full on, not full time, but full on. I really want to give this my all. And so I was ready for financial stability. My husband's job, he was gone a lot still, and I really needed something. I really needed something for myself. And I knew that the community was there because I had already taken part in that. I just wasn't taking my business real serious. I am so thankful because when I made that decision, it really changed our life forever. Because of all of the toxins and medications, and hormone therapy I had been exposed to, we had weathered 6 miscarriages and all the heartbreak that goes with them. I was told that I would never be able to have a child on my own ever again. Surprise, we did. She's 7 months old. I got pregnant naturally. She is asleep right now, but thankful to lots of vitamins, lots of changes in my diets. I have a beautiful third surprise baby that I get to be home with, that I get to homeschool. I am a new homeschool parent. This pandemic happened and we didn't even worry because guess what? I'm here and I have this wonderful income. And so I get to be here and I am dedicated to paying it forward to everybody, to teach them about health and wellness, to teach them that they can have their own business, to teach them that they will weather the storm, that they will get through on the other end. Really especially, I want to, especially now, I want to help other women be home with their kids like I am. I want to help families know and be able to weather what we weathered through. Like, hey, we're in the middle of a pandemic. You don't have to worry. I got so many text messages in March, like, I don't know what to do. What are you doing? And for us, it was like, yeah, I'm just homeschooling. It's no biggie. Like, because of this income, it's been such a blessing. I now make more part time in Shackley than I did full time as a teacher. And more than anything, I have a community of friends that are dear to my heart. And we're all working together to teach others about creating healthy families and really creating freedom for themselves. So
Wow. Ah, Sarah, thank you.
Yeah, that is so remarkable to hear both Tova's story and then Sarah. It is just remarkable how Shackley's been such a vehicle for so many of us who have come upon times that were tough, that were maybe unexpected, where we're just really struggling to survive. Um, hey, everybody, I'm Suzanne Jeffries, and I'm really honored to be here. My Shackley story started 11 years ago, and I had never heard of the word Shackley. I was an independent woman, a mother of three. I had been a first grade teacher for 10 years, had retired from that and gone into fitness instruction and horse training. And I felt very fortunate because I was able to co-own a business, a traditional storefront business, a horse ranch. And it was beautiful. I loved it. It was exciting, but there was a big downside. And the downside was I was working 80 to 100 hours a week.
Mm.
I was also going through a divorce at the time.
Mm.
And we had a lot of debt, a lot of marital debt, partly from college and my then husband's postdoctoral school, things like that, but also because my storefront, it looked to everybody else like we were earning good income, but there was so much overhead. There were so many expenses in running, with the rental and the electric and the gas and the taxes and all that. Just being a storefront homeowner, traditional business owner, was exhausting, and it was very out of balance financially, which just stressed me out tremendously. So I was struggling to make ends meet, and I was really kind of praying that there would be some kind of a sign, something I could do where I could honor the work that I loved working with horses. I could continue to, to fulfill the contracts we had teaching all over North America and be a good mom to my three kids who were also experiencing the shifts that come along with divorce. Well, I was very private about my finances. I don't know about you guys, but I was a pretty public person because I was in the spotlight a lot, speaking a lot, teaching a lot. But I was very private about my finances. And one of my clients, one of my students, Tammy Ale, one day she asked me to try some vitamins. Now, unbeknownst to me, Tammy, who I knew was a single mom, had started her own Shackley business. And she did it because she wanted to work fewer hours and spend more time with her children and create more income. Well, she had no clue that I was in a financial crunch, that I was very stressed out. She just said, "Hey, would you try some vitamins? Because I've got this new business. I'd love to get your feedback." I was not one for vitamins. I didn't believe in vitamins. I heard vitamins were just hogwash, and I ate really clean. And I said, "Tammy, thanks so much, but no, thank you." And she said, "Please, that's exactly why I am asking you to try the vitamins, because I know you eat healthy. I know you're into wellness and well-being naturally. And if you feel a difference in just 6 days, I know that these vitamins really, really work." And I said, "Okay, I'll give them a try." I was just really trying to help my friend and my client. I took the vitamins for 6 days. We were on a tour, horse tour up in the Royal Winter Fair in Canada. 1 million people going through over 10 days, and we were performing and teaching. I loved it. It was so invigorating. I loved helping people develop relationships with horses, develop courage, especially women, and develop an ability to understand themselves more deeply and to really face their fears. Well, I was feeling great taking these vitamins. I was sleeping better. I was thinking clearer. I had great energy all day long. And for me, when I traveled, I didn't usually sleep well. So that was a huge change. Well, I didn't think it was the vitamins. I just kind of thought I found my groove because remember, I didn't believe in vitamins. And day 7 came, no more vitamins. And I was like, okay, I kept my promise. And integrity is huge for me. So day 8 came. I hadn't slept well the night before. I didn't have much energy. The ninth day came, and my then business partner, cowboy, and now husband, Bob said, what the heck happened? Something changes like a light switch. You were up one day, you're down now. You were so up and energetic, and now you're exhausted. And frankly, you're crabby, Suze. What's going on? And I said, nothing's changed except I stopped taking those vitamins because I ran out. And he said, well, you really need to go find out what's in those vitamins. So I went online. I looked at Tammy's website. I learned it was Shaklee. I hadn't really even understood what Shaklee was. I did a lot of research just reading through what was on her website. And I found out this company was really committed to well-being, to wellness for all, and to financial stability for anyone who was interested, and doing so by helping other people become healthier and have more financial balance. And I learned about Shaklee being, that NASA reaches out to Shaklee for solutions, and all these hundreds of Olympic athletes who take only Shaklee supplements and vitamins and sports fitness and nutrition because it's the only one that's pure enough. And I read all these amazing things, and I was kind of like, is this too good to be true? So I called Tam and I said, hey, Tam, I didn't know you could like earn money with this. And you don't know this, but I'm in $35,000 worth of credit card debt. Do you think, I'm thinking maybe I could try this business. Is this something that you think I could do? Like, is this company, do they really have integrity? Because that was important to me. And she said, Suzanne, this company has so much integrity. She said, our most valuable possession is our reputation. She said, I would never compromise our reputation. I know you never would either. And I said, that's absolutely right. So I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to really invest in this business. I had no money. I just put it on a credit card to pay off in 30 days. So I made myself a promise. I was going to invest in my business. I was going to give it my best. In that 30 days, I was going to make that money back. Well, in 18 days, I made the money back and more. I spoke to 18 people, 18 friends. I said, listen, I found a solution for my health and also for my finances, and I'd love to share it with you. Would you support me by coming to my grand openings? Had 3 events, 18 people, boom, paid back every investment that I'd made up to that point. Learned a lot, helped so many people, lots of family and close friends. And it just grew and grew and grew. And in 18 months, I paid off that $35,000 worth of credit card debt because of my Shaklee business.
Oh,
The best part is the community. I've been able to meet so many amazing people, and it's such a relief knowing that I can earn income very part time, doing something I love, doing something I'm passionate about and I believe in, helping other people do the same. It's a beautiful ripple effect, and the community we have here is unlike any other. So I really am I feel like God answered my prayer that day. He made Tammy brave enough to say, would you try my vitamins? Because sometimes we're a little nervous. Guys, we don't know what people are struggling with. Why
oh,
don't we just offer? Why don't we just ask questions and find out how we can help? And that's really maybe the best part of my whole Shaklee experience. We learned how to really
oh,
help.
oh,
Thank you, Suzanne.
oh,
That
great,
was
Suzanne.
wonderful. And all three of
Mm.
you, Sarah, Tova, and Suzanne, thank you for just sharing your wonderful stories and sharing from your heart. And I've heard your stories and I still get overwhelmed every time I hear them. They really touch my heart because when Barbara and I started, we really had no idea where this would bring us. We didn't know as women that we would crash the glass ceiling and be millionaires. We didn't know that. We just did it because we wanted something for our families and we wanted to do something that was good. And both, Barbara and I are like the three of you that we want to help others. So there are some intangibles, though, that I thought maybe Barb could share a little because it's not all about the cars and the money and the trips, as we could hear from these wonderful three people. What about those intangibles, Barb?
Well, they're kind of the best part. I think you heard it come through in the 3 stories that we're sharing tonight. The freedom for me to work when I want, with whom I want, how I want, homeschooling for Sarah, Tova, and Suzanne, tucking in these other. I appreciate that. Um, and the personal development, it's the people who we become along the way. We grow as our businesses grow. And the friends we make along the way, we cherish them. Um, That's how Jeannie and Steve and we have worked together and known each other for 40 years. And it's one of the best parts. Um, and I guess the last thing I would say, as I'm going to be 75 this month, is that knowing that for the last 40 years, I have done work that has been meaningful and made a contribution to others, and to know that that's what my life's work has been wonderful. And we have fun along
Yes,
the
we
way.
do.
I
We
got
do
to
have fun.
mention that.
We won't stop working, but we do have fun.
We won't.
And I'm sure, when you
Um,
heard these stories, you may have had questions. Maybe you're not in a place that you find yourself, or maybe you do. I would just really ask you to talk to the person who invited you. Find out how you do make your money. Find out about these products that obviously made a tremendous impact in Sarah and Tova and Suzanne's life, and in Barbara and mine, and now our children and grandchildren, and dogs and cats and everything else that we have,
Jeannie, way to
right?
tuck that one in. Yeah.
I knew you would. But really, just take a chance, because, I know for me, I was very closed in the beginning, but the one thing that I did learn is sometimes opportunity knocks and you don't hear it knocking. You really don't. And we just present these stories to just open up the door a little bit. So maybe that this is something for you, because we would love you to join our community. There is plenty of room for good hearted people and fun people, and people who do want to make a difference and make an impact. So thank you for joining us. Barb, you have anything final you want to say
No, just
tonight?
goodbye and thank you for joining us. And we welcome you to join us in our work. Thanks for being with us tonight.